For sure. I mean, this is the thing. 5 years ago, my biggest thing in life was I just want freedom. I want freedom with God. I want freedom with my wife. I want freedom with my kids. I want freedom with time. I want freedom of money. I want freedom all over, right? Everything in life, I'd like to have freedom. And I believe that there's a certain amount of everything that is freedom. And then there's a point where it's like, whatever. So I'll say the same thing with you. So for me, I want freedom with God. So I want to make sure that I'm
Amen,
doing
brother.
all things that are honoring of God. I want to make sure that I'm following Jesus, that I can be more like him, whatever.
Welcome to Sharpen the Spear podcast, where we help manufacturing executives command the front and win the floor. I'm Richard Walsh, creator of the Sharpened Impact methodology, and I spent decades helping leaders transform frontline teams, unlock hidden profit, and capture capacity they didn't even know they had. If you want to see where your leadership gaps are costing you and how to fix them, head over to grittolead.com and run the free Sharpened Impact Simulator today. Let's sharpen your edge and get started. And we are back on STS, Sharpen the Spear podcast with another incredible guest. Nik Hall's with us today. And Nik, no one knows Nik as well as Nik. So, Nik, I need the backstory. Bring us up to speed and we'll get into the conversation.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I'm Nik Hall. Started a my entrepreneurial journey early in life as I was a teenager, selling MacBooks before I'd even sell one. I'd sell it, I'd buy it, and then go make the money. Always loved the idea of just doing my own thing, not really good at listening to other people. And so, long story short, I ended up starting a gummy vitamin company in college. Scaled that D2C multiple millions a year. Then we went Amazon, scaled that substantially, worked with some of the top people on Amazon. And then we went 0 to 20,000 points of distribution within about 2 years. And as we were growing through that, we, outsourced a lot of things and Amazon, Facebook ads, all these different things. And long story short, did not have really good results with any of it. Really hard to find good contractors, hard to find people that actually cared about the business and actually knew what they were doing. Long story short, ended up growing and selling that business later. I took the Amazon back in house after growing to 20,000 points distribution and scaled our Amazon back 450%. And so had really good success there. We ended up exiting that business in 2023. And since then, I've just been helping other brands on Amazon, just scaling from 10 grand a month to 500,000 a month, 100,000 a month to 400,000 a month within 60 days. So had some really good fun there.
That's some results. I
Oh
like that,
yeah.
So
Love
yeah,
stuff.
it's pretty interesting, the whole Amazon thing in and of itself, watching that from the very beginning to what it is now, and then the dominance of the market, the book market for one. I know that I've written multiple books, right? So it's like, dang, they're it.
Oh yeah.
Like
It's crazy.
85% of the market or more now. I don't know what it is, but it's wild. But it's also an incredible opportunity to self-publish and do all kinds of really cool stuff.
Oh yeah. It's
So
so
it
cool.
it's changed the game. I love that. But when it comes down to product, so is that your primary focus? Is moving product for people when you're consulting with them and helping them? Is that what you're looking for? What specifically are you looking to help with people?
Yeah, most people, they're on Amazon, they got stuck. They're at 10 grand a month, they're at 50 grand a month, they're at 100 grand a month, but they've just been stuck there for a while. I'll go in and I'll figure out one if I even want to do it, right? I'm not here to fix if something's not broken.
Right.
But if there's something broken and there's something that we can do to substantially improve it, we're absolutely going to do what we can to actually get that moving. And so that's what we'll do of going in and actually working to improve the way that the product is marketed, the images, the SEO, the AI optimizations, and then even deeper from an ad standpoint. And then
Right.
we'll be able to give a pretty good tell if we can actually do this before even signing with someone.
So here's a question I'm thinking of. So let's say you're going to increase that. You want 50,000 to 400,000 a month. Okay. What are you doing before you do that? If you see that potential, because they have to have the capacity for that, don't they? And
That's
no
right. Yeah,
capacity, like
exactly.
that could be
Yeah.
kind of a problem.
It's one of the biggest issues that we find whenever we take brands on because every agency in general, but every Amazon agency is going to sit out there and tell you, oh, we can grow you like crazy. And then they do nothing for you, right? And so everyone's used to the conversation of like, we're going to do all this for you. They get it and then they do nothing for them, right? I mean,
Yes.
legitimately, when we start with these people, we start and then we scale and we're for real about the scale. I mean, I'm so used to seeing, oh, sales have increased 89% month over month, or they've increased from 100 grand to $180,000 within 35 days. That my biggest thing that I always tell people is I'm like, hold stock at least on the top products. So it's a we don't view ourselves as just an agency. We view ourselves as like a partner within others because we've got to be real with them. We've got to tell them like, hey, here's where we actually are going to be able to win. Here's where, you're going to need to, help on our side.
Now, do you get the buy-in on that? Meaning, like, okay, now we have to ramp up production so we can meet what you're going to bring.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of trust involved there because there's
Yeah,
a
there
lot of
is.
outlay on their
Yeah.
end to get that inventory at least on top sellers.
That's right. Usually we'll get the buy-in. There's some brands that don't have enough money to go right now. They don't have whatever the main reason may be. But usually what we'll find is that we can go after this in the right way. And so if they can't fully buy in, we'll just adjust the ads accordingly. We'll adjust some of the strategy and all of that stuff. So we always work together on that stuff. Most of the time, what's hard to tell is, are you going to increase me 10% this next month, 50%, 300%? And so
With
we
that
always try
magic
to be
wand,
reasonable.
just
Yeah,
just just dial the magic wand down a little bit
it is.
and just
It is really cool though, because I sit there and I'm like, we may have a bad day just in general, right? Whatever may happen. And then I look at some of the results and I'm like, how cool is this? Like, you've got a brand that came to me and was stuck at $100,000 a month. Their top month they ever had was $130,000. Within the first 30 days, we're at $160,000. Within 45 days, we were at $185,000. And then we stocked out their top products. I'm like, if that's your worst problem,
good
you got pretty
problems.
good things
You
going.
got good problems.
Oh yeah.
Those are the kind of problems we all want.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
let me ask you, what's the range of product? Do you know what I mean? Like do you
Yep.
say, listen, we're usually in the 10 to $175, or what do you do it by dollar? Do you have a different
Usually,
analysis for this? How are you figuring it
you
out?
know, I'm from the healthy, better for you CPG/supplement side. That's the typical of where I have sat. That is, we are really, really, really good at that and really good at being able to tell, is this worth going after or not? Beauty, not my thing. It's just not my thing. If you have a beauty product, it's just not the ideal. We have products that are $1,000 and some of their competition is 250. And then we have other products. Majority of our products are the 15 to $30 range. That's just a good profitable area on Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, and that's important. That's a good distinction. And if you're in like the supplement business and the health and do that is, the proverbial red ocean.
Yeah.
That is a highly competitive, area.
It's
Like you got to be like want to suffer a bit if you want to get into
most
that market.
like the worst market to get into today, in my opinion, is what Groons is in. There is Groons is these greens gummies, and they've got a couple other ones, Immune and some of these other ones. It has become so incredibly competitive. I mean, it's $12 a click. How expensive is your
Wow.
product? 20 bucks, 30 bucks, 40 bucks, 50 bucks? Well, even
Wow.
if it's $50 and you have a 20% conversion, which is high for a $50 product, you're telling me that, I mean, it's going to cost you $50 to acquire a $50 customer. That's not good math for Amazon.
No.
You're going to be losing money. So,
Yeah, I mean, this, we're pretty high level right now, you and I, when we're talking, right? So
oh yeah.
there's a lot more in this when you start really diving into it. And you just touched on a little bit is these margins,
Yep.
and your cost per click and everything else. When you start really looking at that, that's where I think a lot of people, well, they end up failing because they
Yeah.
don't really have the understanding of, well, air quote, the math,
That's right.
right? They
It's,
discount too much, they give away out, and they're like, it's just the profit just gets eaten up. And I've seen the same thing, Nick, on marketers who come in and they promise to increase their revenue. Oh, you're doing, 1.2 million. Well, I'm going to increase that to, 2.3. I'm
yeah,
like, okay, that's the revenue.
exactly.
How are we doing this? Because what's
Totally.
going to happen to my profit?
It's
Because I don't
exactly
want
it.
to ramp up to produce $2.3 million of product instead of my 1.2,
Yeah.
and I don't make any more money.
And that's the hardest thing with a lot of these for people is they just don't understand the the math on the business. And what I always tell people, just in business in general, I've started a number of businesses and have been fortunate with some, and honestly, other ones I've just not done well. And so,
Right.
there's a bit of both. But um, what I found is that the business model itself is the most important thing. If you have the business model wrong, so for example, in an agency world, I talk to so many people and they're like, yeah, I'm struggling. And I'm like, because you do Facebook, Google, Amazon, conversion rate optimization, blah, 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 blah. And so you bring in all this money because now you can get more clients, right? And your net terms is 30 days. And so what happens is you have to have a Facebook person, a Google person, an Amazon person, an SEO person, a conversion rate optimization person. So you got 5 employees. And when you lose your Facebook person, what do? You got to find another one and then you got to train them. Well, my training, now most people don't do training like this, so this is not typical in the industry. My training takes 540 hours to train someone. And that's on top of them already having 3+ years of experience. And so to me, I'm just Amazon. I'm Amazon only, and I'm really, really, really good at Amazon. I'm okay at Facebook ads. I don't do Facebook ads. I'm okay at it. People don't want okay people. They want really, really good. And then they do a 30-day term or a 30-day terms. Well, and what happens when they don't pay at the 30 days? You've already paid out your employees. They're not. And so I'm like, the math doesn't work. You've got to run a business that actually makes sense. The problem in the CPG world is a lot of people talk about Facebook. There's really three different business models. Your D2C website, Amazon, and retail. And if you look at your D2C, people think that you get your best margin, but you've got to pay for all the marketing, your meta ads, your TikTok, your all the other things, right? And when you add all that in, you're almost never profitable on first sale. Amazon, you can be profitable for sale or break even and get all the returning customers and start to grow organically. And now you get the snowball effect. Retail, you've got 9 months before you sign a deal, another 6 months before you get in, and 2 to 6 months before you get paid. You got a year and a half of no cash. So to me, retail is a longer term play. But if you go look at go look at Liquid IV's numbers. Their number two channel besides Costco, Amazon, doing almost $200 million a year just on Amazon. That's wild.
Yeah.
And they get paid within 14 days. And it's very clean cut, dry, exactly what you want. And you can launch a new product next week if you want to. Your choice, not theirs.
So let me go to the other side and say, okay, you got 200 million a year in business on Amazon. That's rented real estate. Okay, in a sense. So think
Yep.
about that. Like that's a lot to depend on
For
Amazon,
sure. For sure.
right? That could be a little scary because
For
they
sure.
could do whatever they want,
That's right. And they
right?
do.
So it's like
They
Costco,
do.
same thing.
Yep.
I have a friend, a client. Costco's coming in. They got to do 1.2 million. We'll call them dumplings a
Yeah.
day to fill this order, right? When Costco puts in orders, they're big,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
And when they turn them off, that's big too.
Yeah.
Like this is painful. So
And
it's scary to be in those kind of numbers under one thing. I saw this way back, Nick, in the 90s with Home Depots,
yep.
even Walmart's, all this stuff, seeing people getting all ramped up to supply them. And then they start just,
And they're out.
well, they're not even out. They start shaving the pricing.
Yep.
They start, nope, we're going to only pay this because they got you. Because now 50% of your production is going to that one place
It's
and it's
You got to
challenging.
be careful. And this is where like most people in business will say you never want more than 10% of your volume to be from one customer, right?
Right.
Because you never want to be at risk. I personally put it in a position of like I always want to be in a position of power. And so I want to make sure that whoever I'm with, like I can well, one, I want to make sure I can actually serve them. If I can't actually serve them, they're going to churn at some point. And
Right.
that's just bad business. Second is, you know, you got to make sure that you actually have control. And it's really hard because right, like on the Costco front, do you take the $20 million purchase order or do you skip the $20 million purchase order? Because
Yeah.
just like you said, it's $20 million,
Mm-hmm.
but it also could literally shut you out of business. And what's cool with Costco that I really like is Costco's always very weary of that. They do not want to shut you out of business,
Right.
but you've got to be able to do massive
You got to
volume.
deliver. You got
And
to
so
deliver.
it is this dichotomy, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what the answer is for a lot of people, but uh, might want to, yeah, everyone's is different.
Well, there was one one company, both Costco, no, yeah, no, it was Sam's and Walmart. Both showed up to the plant wondering where their product is.
Mm,
Now, when Sam's and then Walmart are showing up to your plant, wonder where their product is, and every line is $20 million of product,
yeah.
and you're not producing it. So this is the other side. They want product, you're not delivering.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
true.
That'll end your business forever
Yep. Yeah, you
because
get one chance.
that reputation,
Yep.
they talk.
It's well, and I remember talking to the Costco buyers for vitamin supplements, all that specifically. And at first we were like, we really want to be in there. We really want to be in there. And then down the line, we're sitting there and we're like, huh, do we want to be in there? And so later down the line, we're like talking with the buyers and they're like, honestly, guys, we want you to be at this level, blah, blah, blah. And we were like, okay, let's just hold off on it. And so we just stayed really cool with the buyers. And it was amazing though, because it didn't ever ruin our business, never made our business, never destroyed our business. And all of us were on a really, really good understanding of that. Where if I was to launch another company today and I wanted to take the risk on Costco, I think I could get in. I don't want to say easily, but I could get in much easier than I could have. Whereas before, it's like, yeah, if I would have lost that though,
Right.
are they going to trust you on the next go around?
Yeah. They'll respect you.
Yep.
They'll respect that decision because they get it,
Yeah.
and
That's
the
right.
end result would be their customers would suffer.
That's right. That's
And that's
exactly.
who they care about.
Yep.
So you taking that position is totally okay with them because now they know instead of not fulfilling an order
Right.
that you couldn't do, then you're finished.
Oh yeah.
Like you said,
Exactly.
now you have a re-entry point because of the way you handled it. If that time ever comes, which I think is really smart.
That's
People need
right.
to people need to. It's that reality check. Everyone wants the big things. Like a lot of people get excited about those big accounts, but I'm like, you gotta understand what you have to produce.
Yeah.
Like it's
True.
not always that great.
Oh yeah. It
You know,
is.
you so back to the margins. What are you actually going to make
Right.
at this value?
Yep.
And there's a lot to it, obviously, but I love that you go in though, and you're helping existing companies. Are you doing any real startups with people? Or are you just going, hey, they're already
We have a
here.
few.
We're doing improvement.
Yeah. I mean, we have startups that we work with. The easiest for us, truthfully, is taking a brand that's already on Amazon, has a bunch of data, all that stuff. I can make a
Of
change
course.
within days.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen 30 to 50% daily sales jumps in 3 days based off of some of this. We have a company we just took on a month and a half in. We're 3x their sales already, 300%
Wow.
increase. And so those are like what I would call easier and better because it's easier. Like we already know the data. It's already said if you've got a 2% conversion and the market has a 10% conversion, you're never going to win. That's just the reality.
Right.
You're just going to go blow a
Right.
bunch of money. And so you always have to make your stuff better. So that's where we'll come in. We'll do some startup. It just depends. We got to see if the market actually makes sense, if the industry is something that we'd want to get into or have been into or whatever.
Sure.
So
Sure. Yeah, I think. Do you get a lot of flowers
not
for
not a ton.
triple X and 10X in their sales? They don't send you
Maybe I
gifts.
should. Maybe I should.
What's up with that?
I
A
know.
bunch
Come
of
on.
ingrates. A
That's
bunch of
right.
ingrates.
That's
I figured
awesome.
you'd have more Amazon packages as thank you gifts than anybody else.
My wife
So
keeps them coming in.
yeah.
She's the one buying them for herself
Well,
and the kids,
I'm saying, people sending you thank yous.
Oh yeah. Oh
They
yeah.
come via Amazon. That's what I'm talking about.
That's right.
Like,
Yeah.
dude,
That'd be
if you're
great.
increasing my monthly by 100 grand, okay, the least I can do is send you a package of something.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know, whatever you like. I'll
That's
find
right.
out. Need a box of cigars? I'll send a box of cigars. You need an 82 Bordeaux? It'll be at your door. It'll be
That's
okay.
right.
I'll take care of you, man. So yeah, it's here's the thing about, and I'm careful not to put you in a marketing category. Okay. I don't know where you stand on that, but it's
Yeah.
kind of a dirty word.
Oh yeah.
I've been around a long time and it's so ambiguous.
Totally.
And you just and most people, you said it right in the beginning, have already had a bad experience or 10.
That's exactly. I mean, I had 12 bad experiences before I got a good Facebook marketer. I had 7 bad when I never even found one. I just did it myself.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm talking about. It's like when we said the trust thing, like, hey, you
Yep.
got to ramp up production. It's real
Hmm.
because of experience,
Yeah,
not
it's
because
true.
they don't know you,
That's right.
but like everyone else they didn't know and hired, they
Uh-huh.
got burned. I've been through a multiple. Everyone has, all
Oh
these
yeah,
different things, and it's just you get so jaded.
totally. And
You're
honestly, I
just
think that people should be. I think people should be. I always tell people, I'm like, if you're not worried about another agency coming in or whatever, you always should be because the majority of people don't actually know what they're doing. And that's how we keep so many
right,
people. Like I always say, I have the easiest and the hardest job. I have the hardest part of my job is I'm saying the exact same thing as everyone else. Oh, we'll grow
right,
your sales. We'll drop your ACOS. Blah, blah, blah. It's all the same dang thing, right? The reality is, I'll tell you the truth. These three products that you have a catalog of 10 products. These three you will not be able to make money on, straight up. And they're like, wait, what? And some people get offended by it. Some people are like, well,
yeah,
that's my top seller on my website or my top seller in retail. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not the market on Amazon. It's three times more expensive than any other
right.
product.
So it's literally don't put it on there, just sell it on your
Yeah.
website.
Or just let it run. Don't put a bunch of money towards ads. Okay. And then let's go after these four products are really, really good to launch. And so that's the hardest part of my job. The easiest part of my job is then scaling it. I've done this
Yeah,
for 10 years straight every day.
yeah. I think it's really so. Here's the differentiator in you. Then is well, it's kind of truth. It's the hard conversation, but you're willing, where a lot of marketers aren't,
Yeah,
to say no, 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 yes, yes, no, yes, yes, yes
that's right.
for the Amazon stuff. That's all you do. And I got to tell you, if I had a product line, multiples, right, and someone didn't do that for me, I'd have to almost question it. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
right.
Like, just no, no, we can make it all work
Yeah.
because I think their thought process we'll make so much with the stuff we know will sell. It'll cover that, but
Yep.
we get to charge for the stuff that we sell.
Oh yeah.
Like we're moving more product, and it's
Yep.
just a shell game.
Yep.
It's
It
just
is.
and it's disappointing
It totally is.
because just tell them no with that,
That's
and
right.
they'll go crush it with the things that'll sell.
Well, my
That's
thing
what's
is this,
ideal.
you're gonna have challenges one way or the other. So pick your challenge. This is my way. I'd rather work with someone that I know I'm gonna be one, personality wise, gonna work really well. Two, product is an area that we genuinely believe that we can grow. And then what we can do is we can just do our magic and we don't have any stress and we have a great life, right? The worst thing is to go work with a company that absolutely sucks. The founders are jerks. The
Right.
product isn't good. It's you can if you actually understand Amazon, you can point out a lot of that stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And so I have a pretty easy life with very little stress because I don't take on majority of the brands that we talk with.
So, Nick, this is the big takeaway for everyone because in all business, I don't care if it's e-commerce or you're, you know, plunging toilets. I don't care what it is, right?
Right.
Like what matters is you have to know who to say no to as
Yes.
a customer.
Yep.
Okay. So I mean it's really, really important. And a lot of people when they begin, they don't because they just want to make money and they'll do anything
Yeah.
and they'll learn the hard way, like gotta get punched in the face a couple times, have some scars, then we can talk.
Yep.
Because you can't appreciate what I'm going to tell you because I'm be telling you who to say no to and you're not going to want to because you just see it as income.
That's
It's
right.
that you don't understand the aggravation and there's and actually it'll create a loss, in a
Yep.
lot of ways, intangible and tangible both. So I think it's important that people need to understand that going in, that not everybody is your customer.
That's true. My sister started a business and it was actually really cool to see how quick she became what I would say successful. I mean, it took her a few months. Most people I say it's 6 to 12 months. In your early days, charge less than you will charge later. Take on anyone and everyone. And then in the later days, you're going to do the exact opposite. You're going to charge more than what others are charging. And then you're going to do,
Hopefully
yeah,
you
hopefully,
do that because
assuming that you
people
have a
don't.
better product and service, right? And then you're going to only take on people that you actually want to work with. In the early days, you're just trying to figure out like, is this the market I want to be in? Is this it? Like, and
Yep.
you're taking on anyone because you have to pay your bills.
Right.
Later days, you're not taking on everyone because it's a total pain and you don't want bad customers. And that is a real thing. Not all money is good money.
Yeah, I've had to work with a lot of clients and like redefine their ICP, right? Really, who's your ideal
Yeah.
client? Tell me your best experiences with clients. The
Yep.
best ones, the ones you love the most, and they'll describe it in detail. I go, okay, that's who you need to serve.
Yep.
Everybody else is out. You
Yep.
think I can do that? Yeah, because you can charge three times more,
Yep.
so you can lose 40% of your customers.
Yeah. And then you don't
No
have as
more,
much
make more.
work or as much headache or as
That's right.
much,
It's
it's
but
funny because
you're happier.
totally. And people always talk to me about like, what's my ICP? And I'm like, people don't like the answer to this because everyone wants to hear a CMO of a company between
Right.
5 and 50 employees
Right.
that is this, this, this. This is the reality of mine. Yes, some of those are true, right? Your CMO, your CEO, your founder, your whatever of small, medium businesses. What I really like though is if they've been on Amazon, because if they've been on Amazon, they understand the struggles and the pain in the
Yep.
butt that Amazon has. They always are
Mhm.
increasing fees. They're always doing these things, right? So if you've been on Amazon, you already understand the headaches. And you've also worked with another agency. If you've worked with another agency, you know how bad most agencies are. They're not responsive. They don't give you good results. They're just not good. And again, I've got a couple agency friends that I'll refer people to all the time, but I'm like, man, there's too many of these. 95% of them are total trash.
Well, I tell people because to be a marketer is a very low barrier to entry.
Totally.
Okay, there's like you don't need anything.
Yep.
You don't have real estate, you don't have product, you don't all you have is like your Zoom.
Yep.
Like, it's like, and it's like, dang, okay. And I think that's why it's so flooded. But I also think you're right when you're really looking at this, understand that ICP, who you're going to serve and why. That whole thing it's a whole thing, right? But I,
Hmm.
I think isn't going back to they need the scars, just like you said.
Yeah,
They have to have suffered on Amazon, right? They have to understand it because they can't appreciate what you're going to bring. They can't believe you for one,
that's right.
okay? Because I mean, there's a trust factor, right? We
Yeah.
talked about it earlier, and like you have to have that, but they have to. What you say, if they haven't done, this is just you can correct me if I'm off base here, but if they haven't been on Amazon, again, got knocked down a few times,
Yep.
lost some money, done all that stuff, they don't have a filter for the things you tell them,
Right.
right? So now
That's right.
they go because they're listening.
Yep.
And if they're going, wait, you're telling me to do the same thing I did and it didn't work because
Yep.
that happens.
Oh,
Okay.
for sure.
A
It
lot, you're like,
does.
Yes. Oh, and thank you for your time. Goodbye. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
It's like,
Oh,
we're
exactly.
moving on. So I think that's really important for people to understand. They have to, you have to get in, you got to fight, you got to lose a little bit, you got to keep going and then go look for the help,
That's
you
right.
know?
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. Really,
I'm with you.
that's important. So going forward, what's in your eyes your business? Like what's the future look like for you when you're thinking about doing because if
Yeah.
you're knocking it out of the park for every client,
Yeah.
okay, like does that get boring? Okay,
I don't
I'm
know.
like, well, what are you gonna do? Like, how do you top that, or do you care? I don't even
Yeah.
know.
Well, I love the strategy that we have right now, which is work with brands that we genuinely believe in and grow them to the moon. I love working with great founders and stuff. And so no, I don't get bored of that. I don't need a bunch of I'm gonna say this a different way than you were saying it, but I've got some that I worked with in the past that were total pains in my ass. I don't work with them
Yeah,
anymore. I
right,
got someone weeks ago that just got rid of. Done. You don't cuss at me. You don't act like that. We grew your sales a certain amount.
yep,
That's good. Right? Like we don't need to be against each other. We're on each other's team. We're not fighting against each other. Um, and so we'll see where it goes from here. Um, I I believe that we can continue to do what we're doing. I don't know how much of scale I want to do with this, truthfully. It's been something I've struggled with for a long time because when I talked to 18 different agency owners before I got into this, I talked through and I was like, what are the good things? What are the bad things? Where do you see the best margin? Where do you see the best lifestyle? Where do you see and I went through all these different questions. Really, when you get to a certain size, you start to lose what they call service level. What that means to someone like me is shitty service. I don't like that. I don't work like
right,
that. And I
right,
really don't want to have a company of people that have really bad service. The standard is the standard and it is what it is. And so if I have the team size that I have right now, but we just do really, really good work for the amount of clients that we have, the hard part is my mind always works in growth mode. I love growing. I
right.
love it's just like
Yep,
how I work in all areas. I want to make sure that God's given me certain things. I want to make sure that I put those to work or whatever. So I'm Yeah, we have growth goals. They're not outrageous growth goals. They are reasonable, and I think that we can do some really, really good stuff with it. But we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening with it. Biggest thing is results for us. We've got to get really good results for
Well,
people.
yeah, yeah. I think what a lot of people miss too on this, Nick, is like you're saying, like you don't have to, you don't have to be Amazon.
Hmm.
Okay, you don't have to be that, But my question is always, well, what am I doing with what I have?
Yeah.
Am I making any kind of impact, or am I just lining my pockets? And
Yeah.
what am I doing? To me, I'm not driven by money.
Yep.
I have nothing against it. Really enjoy it.
Sure.
Would like more of it. Okay,
Yeah.
I, I got no issues with money. But what I'm saying is like it's not what drives me.
Yeah.
That's not what drives me. That's not why I do what
That's
I
right.
do. So but then it's not why you do what you do. But well, why do you do it?
Yeah.
And that whole impact, like what does that look like from your internal and your
Yeah.
people, your family, community, that kind of thing? Like, do you ever kind of do that kind of vision boarding
Yeah.
kind of
Oh,
stuff?
for sure. I mean, this is the thing. 5 years ago, my biggest thing in life was I just want freedom. I want freedom with God. I want freedom with my wife. I want freedom with my kids. I want freedom with time. I want freedom with my money. I want freedom all over, right? Everything in life, I'd like to have freedom. And I believe that there's a certain amount of everything that is freedom. And then there's a point where it's like, whatever. So I'll say the same thing with you. So for me, I want freedom with God. So I want to make sure that I'm
Amen,
doing
brother.
all things that are honoring of God. I want to make sure that I'm following Jesus, that I can be more like him, whatever. And don't get me wrong, I fall short all the time. And
We
so I'm
all
trying
do.
to always, yeah, and I'm trying to get better and better at that stuff. There's certain things I continually do, whether it's cussing or drinking or name the certain things that I could probably be substantially better with. Um, then it's with my wife, right? And I would say I have pretty good freedom with God. I feel like I, although it's not about doing, I'm working to become more and more like Jesus. Am I like Jesus? Am I ever going to be exactly like Jesus? Absolutely not. But I will continue to push there. I will try to share the word more and more and more. With my wife, I don't have stress with my wife. People say marriage is hard. Marriage is not hard for me. And I really don't care if other people think it's hard or not. We were hardcore when we first started, before we even started like talking deep, we went 3 weeks. We met on a dating app, not proud of it, but it is what it is. And I love my wife and she's the best thing ever. 3 weeks of questions. Boom, boom, boom. Everything was a question about what the values were. I'm
There
a
you go.
big, big believer of if you get your values straight, and so we're both Christian, we're both politically aligned. We went through all this different stuff, very, very similar lives, childhood, background, all this stuff, whatever. We're 5 years in a marriage, and I haven't hit the bump yet. I'm not saying that every day is like we've never had a little tiff or anything like that, but I'm like, we're both pretty reasonable people. I give that more to my wife than myself. Um, I think there's a lot of girls that are not as easy, but my wife's awesome with that. But then I go through all the other things and I'm like, from a financial standpoint, everyone wants to make more money. But the reality is there's a certain amount of money that people will be comfortable with, or there's a certain amount of money that you need to live. And below that is stressful. And that sucks. Then there's a certain amount of money that not just to live, but to be comfortable. And then there's a certain amount of money that like you're fine and there's really no difference from that to the next highest level. And yes, there is. You can go on private jets or be on yachts or blah, 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 blah. That is a bad game to play. That's a really, really bad game to play. Do you really want that? Because when I see private jets fly by, I sit there and I'm like, if you own a private jet, you should be flying 200 hours a year. 200 hours a year. I do not want to be on a plane for 200 hours a year. That sounds like hell. I
Well,
like my routine.
I love it. I love it. Mike, it's funny because you're talking about this. My pastor on Sundays talking. He's talking about being comfortable.
Yeah.
He goes, so let me just explain to you, like, make this money and doing this, that's comfortable. I said, and he goes, but it's not comfortable. You know why? Because if Charles over here loses his job and he's got a mortgage and he can't make the mortgage, and it's $3,200 a month. He goes, yeah, I can pay his mortgage for that month. He goes, no, that's okay. He goes, but my comfortable is, oh, well, what do you owe on the house, Charles? Oh, 275,000. Here, I'll take care of that for you. He goes, that's my comfortable.
That's
Okay.
cool.
I want to be able to do that, but I go, amen, brother. Like that, that's put both hands up on that
Let's
one. That's a
go.
good one, but see, that's what I'm talking about. It's like, what are you doing with it?
Yeah.
Like the mindset is very, very different depending on the people. And it's great and there's a million different things to do. I
Yep.
have clients who a percent goes to two things. It's a foster program and it's a
Yep.
battered woman's shelter.
That's cool.
5% of all their profits, they go to
Yep.
that profits.
Yep.
Like it goes to that. So but they all choose their thing,
Yep. We
whatever
put
that is.
we put a sizable amount every year, something that I felt was uncomfortable, but what I felt we were called to do. And we'll try to continue to raise that. Now the number continues to go up in terms of dollars. The percent we've raised as well. And for us, we give the local church, but then there's other factors that we'll do in addition, right? And it's what our heart desires. It's what we feel as if someone needs here, there, wherever. Um, and to be completely honest, this is something that I committed to early days of the business. So this is not as fun of a story, but it's a very real story.
Mm-hmm.
When I started my first business, our first year we made $7,000.
That much?
$7,000 and my own sorry from my salary. I made 7 grand. So I was loaded back then. I literally, no joke, ate tortillas, the cheapest tortillas I could find at the store, with a little bit of meat and a little bit of cheese. No sour cream, no guacamole, no avocado, for sure not.
The naked taco.
I had $3.30 a day for food. My rent was $500 a month. With everything else, I had my car paid off. I had all this other stuff, whatever. I lived with 5 guys. It was me and 4 other guys, in a 2 bedroom and a den. And what's funny is some of the guys were actually doing really well. I was just the poor one. I think they just felt bad, and they were like, "Hey,
You're the mascot.
exactly." They're like, "Well, we'll do this for Nick because it's pretty rough, but it's fun."
Let them out twice a day.
That's right. Yeah,
Take
exactly.
care of business. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all good. No, but that is what it's about, though, right? So it's a heart of giving. You know what I mean? A heart of
Right.
sacrifice. I think a lot of entrepreneurs um, don't understand that. It's
Yep.
hard for me. I don't work with a lot of startups. I'm happy to mentor them,
Yep.
the free lunch kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
sit for an hour and I tell them, I fire hose them with
Yeah.
enough stuff they don't have to talk to me again for 6 months.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, I just mean, again, they haven't got the scars. They haven't been through stuff. They
Yeah.
have to go suffer.
Hmm.
And I don't mean I want them to like, lose everything. I'm saying like, it's got to be hard
It's gonna be hard.
because if you don't suffer builds strength.
Yep.
It builds community. It builds,
That's right.
it builds that endurance, that resilience, but you got to go through it.
That's right.
You got to make the
That's where you
mistake.
learn.
Yeah, because the mistakes are where you learn. I mean,
And
my first book was all about my failures,
yeah,
and it was a bestseller because it's full of
so awesome.
failures. Okay,
It
everyone can
is.
relate.
There's a pastor he's if he's not he's my favorite, if not second favorite. The one that I go to now, he's awesome. His name's Craig Rochelle, and he always talks about like people admire you and your strengths, but they sit with you in your weaknesses.
Yeah,
And people understand that, like, yeah, you're a pastor, but you're not perfect. They're like, wow, you're not perfect either. You're not just this like idol that we all look at on the screen or the big stage
right.
or the, whatever. And I'm like, it is true. And the reality is, like, just like with your book, you talk about all these failures through things that built you to where you are now, right? And it's like, it's the reality of it.
Yeah, well, it's relatability too, and
Yep.
I think that's important even from a marketing standpoint, right?
Yep.
There's a relatability. You have to connect.
That's right.
We have to connect with people, and I think a lot of these, I will say that maybe those not so great marketers don't have that ability. I
Right.
always tell people, Nick, I think the automation pendulum has swung pretty far to one side, and it's coming back to relationship because
Yeah.
people have lost that. It's just I'm so
Totally.
tired of like chat responses,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Right.
they want to do all this, and it's just like, do you have an original thought?
Totally.
And I
Very
get
real.
it. I use the like do a lot of stuff with it. I'm not
Yeah.
like saying it's, but I the other what did I do that the other day? Like I had a local meeting. We met on LinkedIn, and they're like, "Well, we used to live in Beloit up until 25." And now then I go, "Let's meet." And like, "Well, we'll meet at Blue Collar Coffee." And we're like, "Okay." And then we got to meet, right? And we hit it off. It was great, and it's very fruitful.
I
But
totally.
because we actually got together,
Yeah.
shake each hands, and spend that time, did an hour, and
Yeah.
then off to the next thing, and I'm in mine, and
So
that's
cool.
what it's all about. When you do that, like you've got to. I mean, Zoom is cool;
Yep.
it's all good. I get it, and it's helpful.
Yep.
Okay, but when you there's no substitution for the power of the room.
I think it's one of the most fun things to do, right? I live 45 minutes outside of Dallas. And so most of the people that I connect with are in Dallas-ish area. And it's hard, like I don't want to go out there every day. I don't want to go into the office every day. Now, most people unfortunately are having to at this point in life, whatever. But um, we are fortunate. Me, my family, we're fortunate in living out here or whatever. But what I will say is some of the best relationships I have are for those that I've gotten to go in and meet. And so
Right.
I try to do it as often as I can, will, and whatever desire. But we talk in our company. The most important thing for us is values, and we go off of Christian values, and it's super 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 important to me. And there's a lot of people that'll go, I don't know if that's really. Don't you need results more? And I'm like, you need results until you find out that someone's stealing from you, and then you want that person gone right then. And so I'm like, you've always got to have values, and that sounds extreme, but it is what it is. So it goes that, and then it goes results. The next thing that we have is relationships, right? So results, well, of course, you are hiring us for results, just as if you're
Right.
buying a product. If those headphones don't work that you're wearing, or the microphone doesn't work, then why did you buy it? You didn't buy it
Right.
for, so you've got to have results with it. The third thing for us is relationships, because relationships matter and people matter. And we want to genuinely be with people that we love working with.
Yeah.
That's why we've canceled a number of clients because they're just not nice or they or a totally different style than us or whatever it may be. Now we usually won't sign them on, but if we work with people that we like genuinely love, I'm like, you're not gonna have a bad day at work if you
Right.
got or not as bad of a day compared to those that you're getting yelled at every day.
Yeah. It's that, I want to be around fountains, not drains.
Mm,
Right. I want people who are
that's
giving
awesome.
and not taking. Okay. So
That's right.
we've all had the drain customers, and employees. I
Oh
think
yeah,
the value aspect that you talked about, Nick, is really important because most companies don't have that. I'll
that's
say,
right.
well, what are your core values? Well, we want people with good character. I go, okay,
Yeah.
well, let's stop there.
Yep.
Define good character. I don't know what that means. That sounds kind of subjective.
That's right.
Like, put it in writing.
It's
Like,
true.
how do you define it? How do you pull that out of someone? How do you know someone has good character? It's a it's a tough question to ask. We all want
It
good
is.
character,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
What's that
know.
mean though?
Yeah, well,
Right.
I
Like.
always tell people, I go, the Boy Scout motto also
Yep.
says, like, do my best, do my duty, come on, to be morally straight. I go, well, can you define what that is? Because it
Yep.
seems kind of confused in today's society. So I want to know because your actions
Yeah.
as this organization does not with, with that in the
It's
oath. So just checking, So
I I think defining the values is I used to think it was total nonsense because you hear mission, vision, values back in college or high school or
yeah,
whatever about whatever. And it's hard because it's like you sit there and what does it mean? What is for me Christian values is really easy. Go through the Bible, you'll figure out exactly what it means, right? We're going to treat others as we want to be treated. We're going to go through and we're going to love others. We're going to care about others. We're going to do all things. We're going to do the work that God gave us that we can, win on all these different things. Um, we're that's fairly simple and straightforward. And we're gonna make sure that we always talk about this stuff. Results. Well, what does that mean with results, right? I used to think it was total nonsense, and I do think it is nonsense with a lot of companies. I'm gonna say it like this because this company I think has done the worst job of doing it. Target has done a horrible job of
oh,
telling their values, because one side they're here politically and one side they're here politically, and
or
all
they've
they're
done a
doing,
really good job of it.
I think they've done a horrible job. They have
Do you know
no
what I
backbone.
mean? Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
You really know who they are.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
You
yeah. I
know,
see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
you're nothing.
You know who, yeah, exactly. You have no
You're
backbone. You have no spine. You are
yeah,
just going after,
that's
who
it.
wrote their values in their company was a PR company, which I've been part of big organizations before. PR companies write the values, not individuals,
Yeah,
not the company.
yeah,
And the reality is it's okay. Not everyone in a company is supposed to be the same. And that's okay. But what you can do is put something consistent that everyone is, right? And so from a small company, honestly, I with my last company, I didn't have mission, vision, values because I thought they were total nonsense. And I don't think I would sit there and say, "Oh, we were successful or not successful because of it." But now what I'll say is we are much stronger as a company, as a team.
right.
As I gave someone feedback earlier today, I said, "Hey, I'm giving you this feedback. I'm giving you feedback so that you can be really, really good at your job. I'm not the kind of guy that's just going to get on to you nonstop. These are the 5 things that I really want you to make sure that you're doing. If you do these 5 things, I'll bet you I'll almost never get on to you about stuff. That's it. I'm telling you the exact formula to make me super happy.
Yeah,
And it's really not hard. It's just putting effort in.
yeah, yeah. I think we call it strategic vision. We want to
That's cool.
create that for the company. And where is every person in the company the hero and they're part of the journey? Why do you matter here? And without you, we don't have this.
That's
Right.
cool.
And they need to understand it. We kind of put in a little bit of story form where they came from doing all that. And
Yep.
even if they're not in the company yet, this is where we're going.
That's
And
right.
it's all the next 18 to 24 months. what we're going to achieve. And when we get there and we achieve it, we do it again,
Yep.
right?
That's
Because any
exactly
more than
right.
that is kind of too far out because nothing, you can't predict anything 5 years from now.
Yeah, yeah,
It's hard enough
exactly.
6 months from now,
Yep.
but it's really important that everyone understands its purpose, right? It's
That's
really,
right.
it's calling character competency. That's what we do. I think they're really called to do this kind of work.
Yeah.
Like that's
That's
important.
cool.
Do they have the character? We already talked
Yep.
about that. Then do they have the competency?
That's right.
Competency is low on the list
Yep.
because you can build that up. That's training. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's better to
Yep.
have a blank slate, train them the way you want to train them, and they're good to
Oh
go.
yeah. Yeah,
Right?
for sure.
Just like I had this thing that you've probably heard this, but it's the 5 F's. You basically alluded to earlier, right? It's faith,
Yeah. Faith,
it's
family,
family,
friends.
finance, fitness, friendships,
Yep. That's
right?
right.
Same thing. So we always talk about work life balance and all this stuff because guys are running hard or they got a bad business. So they're working 90 hours a week,
Yeah.
because they haven't done it right and everything else and
That's
fix
right.
that. So they can't get to any of those
Yep.
5 F's, and things like that. So it's just, I think it's an important conversation to have
It
talking
is.
about your business and what you do and you're growing the business and you're helping other businesses. But it always, I think, comes back to your own business. Okay. Your
That's
clients are
right.
great. You got all the right to doing that. But what are you doing inside and outside of your business?
Yeah.
You've got do you have any kids yet,
I
Nick?
got three, three,
You
two,
have,
and 4 months old.
I have six. So you're
Oh,
off
let's
slacker,
go.
but
I'm
you've only
done.
been married 5 years. So it's good. Yeah. Okay. You're
That's
not
right.
done. Don't say that. That's terrible. That's, you'll be, no, I'm just
You don't say that.
at least you're past the replacement rate. I'll give you that.
That's
That's
right.
good. You got more than 2.1. You
That's
made
right.
it. No, but it's but that again, what are you doing? And they're in those young formative years
They are.
when your proximity matters
Yep.
the most.
That's true.
Like, man, they need, so if you're just working all the time,
Yep.
got to go and you're not remote and you're not, you
Yep.
know what I mean? Um, man, that's you got to understand.
You are
This
so
ain't
right
about
with
you
that.
anymore.
Most
Okay.
people don't most people don't listen to this. And I always we live in an interesting area of Dallas, Texas outside. We're in Heath, Texas. And it's this area where you go drive through these neighborhoods and there's no joke, 153 to $5 million homes. Shaq lives there to the guy owns a logistics company to a bunch of landscaping type companies. And I think it's so interesting because there's so many people out there that um, think like, oh, I want to be in a business or I want to do this or whatever. And a common question I get from college students is, where do you think I should work? What do you think I should do? I'm thinking about going into investment banking. I'm thinking about becoming a doctor. I'm thinking about becoming whatever. And they never think the opposite way, which is what you're talking about, which is lifestyle. How do you want to live your life? And for me, what I'll tell you is I do not miss the Easter party or the Valentine's party I mean, my kids are 3, 2, and 4 months, right?
Mhm.
I just think that there's so much that I can gain from this right now. Now, don't get me wrong. There's times where I'm on my phone all the time or I may be doing whatever. My head's not actually there. So by no means am I perfect with all this stuff, but I will do anything and everything I can to make it to as many of the important events. I'm not going to lunch every day. There's a
Right.
reality and I've got to
Mhm.
freaking work. It is what it is. But if I can make it to those and I just set that as a standard in my life, I now am able to actually enjoy that stuff. If I'm able to be off work by a certain point, again, we talked about the financial side. At what point is enough, right?
Right.
Because I genuinely think that, what do they say? It's like $70,000 a year for a family to live. I don't know, maybe it's 100,000. Everyone feels poor now. Everyone I talk to
Right.
feels poor. I don't care how much money you're making. But then there's a certain point where like once you start making 250, I've found you're pretty dang comfortable. And once you start making $500,000 a year, there's no difference in 500,000 versus 3 million bucks. Now there's a difference between 500,000 and 50 million because now you're private jet and yacht and blah 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 and everything.
Right.
But quit trying to hit that. It's obnoxious and it is so unrealistic. You probably will never hit it. What will likely happen is you will ruin your family, you'll ruin your faith,
Yeah.
you'll ruin your everything
Yeah.
else, and you'll get one of the five.
Yeah. And that's what people aren't thinking through.
Yep,
It's not they don't understand the stages where you're going, what you're doing, and
that's right.
what for.
Yep,
Right. That's why
true.
we do a lot with exit strategy in business. Like
Yeah,
how long and how much.
yep,
You start with those two things. How long you want to do this and how much you
yeah.
want to get out.
I thought this was the best question that I've had a family friend ask me. Never been asked it before. In my last business, I was in it for 7.5 years. He asked me, when do you wish, this is after I sold my company, when do you wish that you sold? When do you wish that you got out of the business? And I was like, God, I've never thought of that. And I'm like, honestly, we had an offer 3.5 years before. I felt like I learned a number of the lessons within the business within that certain amount of time. And I'm not saying I wish that I would have, but I'm like, honestly, looking back, if I would have gotten out of that time, I think I would have learned plus or minus the same amount, diminishing returns at a certain point, gotten a
Right.
good exit, and been able to jump into something and move really quick on the next thing. And I think it's a very, very important thing, along with like, what is the point, right? One of the funniest things that I get asked all the time now is if I was to exit this business today, I'm like, I would absolutely exit the business if the number's right. No, it's not. It's not. I know where my range is. If it's below this range, I have no interest in talking.
Right.
If it's within this range, we can maybe talk. And if it's way above it, then yeah, absolutely. I
Sit
would sell
down, have a cup of
for
coffee.
sure. For sure. And people always ask me, well, what would you do next? And I'm like, I don't really care what I would do next. I'll tell you this, I don't sit on my tush all day doing
Right.
nothing. I would be bored within 3 days, I promise you.
Right. Right. One round of golf and then I'm back to work.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not doing that for the
Nine
rest of
holes.
my
Nine
life.
holes is good for
Yes,
me.
I'm not doing that for the rest of my life. And I grew up in
Exactly.
that business.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think that's really important to understand. And I drill that a lot with my owners and other people who are talking to me is how long and how much. You got to have that set because then you can reverse engineer what you
Yep.
need to do, how you need to do it, how not to get distracted. You can build this, but it gives you guardrails
Yep.
so that you can stay really focused and then your time isn't because what we're really doing as business owners, I think if you talk to the majority that I've ever talked to, and I've talked to a lot, is time. They want
Yep.
time.
Yep.
Freedom goes back to your thing, freedom and everything. We want freedom, but they never get it. Actually, they
Yep.
get less of it because the
Yep.
way they run their business and everything else. So there's a whole, it's like I use this analogy, business is like a mistress.
Yeah.
It wants to be with you. It's going to call to you. You're going to think about it when you go to bed. You're going to think about it when you wake up. It's going to want you to stay and not leave. And that's what a business is because it's yours,
It
right?
is.
And
It's
it's
true.
very attractive to you.
It's
Okay.
yep.
And that's what ruins your relationships and everything else outside of business. Now you're
True.
just that one dimensional guy who might be making a lot of money, but everything else in your life is shambles.
Oh,
It's
totally.
just trash. And it's
Yep.
not. And when you get to the end, I always say, I know it's cliche, you're sitting on your mountain of money all by yourself
All by yourself.
and no
That's
one
right.
cares,
Yep.
and
It's so important.
there's three people at the funeral.
Yep.
Okay. And you
Exactly.
don't even know who they are.
Don't ruin, Craig Rochelle, I'll quote him again, but one of the big things that he talks about is, and whatever it may be that you're doing, send it to the extremity, right? And so, like, I'll give it an example other than business, but it's like people think that some people think, and some people think the opposite, that like me as a guy, I don't go and grab lunch with a single other girl. And the reason why I don't do that is because I don't need to have any sort of temptation. I genuinely do not think that I would ever cheat. However, no one is above anything. And what happens is usually whenever people cheat, they start with a small thing and
Mhm.
then it gets a little bit more, it's just talking to, and they can feel with you emotionally. And then you go to lunch and then you go to a movie and then you stay late at work and then somehow you find yourself cheating. And what he does is he says, put your mind at the end of this thing. So you cheat, like you're just talking to this girl. Okay. You just talked to her. Let's turn it to you cheated. Your wife hates you now. Your kids hate you. No one wants anything to do with you. Would you continue to do it? No, you wouldn't. I really hope you wouldn't. And so take that to the extreme of whatever it may be. And so it's like if I just stay after work until, oh, it's okay, it's just an extra hour. Oh, it's just an extra 2 hours. Oh, it's an extra. Don't let it. Put the stop at something. I don't
That's
care
it.
if it's 5:30, that's okay. Let your family know I will always be home at 5:30. Or I will always, whatever it may be. And there's one day a week that I will work later. Or just set the standard. But don't just leave everything up in the air because this is where things just go out of whack. And what's funny is what you're talking about is there's a lot of people that are doing it to make this money, but they don't even make the money while they do it.
Right.
And I'm
I'm
like, dude,
telling
you
you.
just freaking ruined your life. Just go take the job.
Yeah. Yeah. I use this analogy with them. I go, you got a 5-year-old, right?
Yep.
Maybe they're playing soccer like most 5-year-olds do. It's their first sport, right? Because they just run and kick something. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty easy. Or just stand there. But there they are. You're not there. Your son or daughter's playing their first game. He's taken down the field. He gets that first goal, right? It goes in the net. Boom. He turns to the bleachers looking for who?
Yep.
Not his mom,
Yep.
his dad.
That's right.
And you're not there because you want to work that extra hour at work where you're not even getting paid for it.
Yep.
You're never getting that back.
Nope.
It's gone forever.
Yep.
And you cement it in your child's mind that it's not around.
Totally.
Dude, I had that big epiphany in '09. I'm losing everything, my business. I got 6 little kids. They just want to be with me. And I woke up one day, I mean, we're losing million. It just is horrible, right? And I go, you know what? My kids don't care what I drive,
I
how
don't
many
care.
trucks I have. They don't
Yep.
care what kind of house we're in.
Yep.
All they wanted was me to be around.
Yep.
And if I continue on this path, this was the epiphany I got. God gave me a window. I
Yep.
go, their future is going to be broken, failed relationships, bad marriage, all this stuff because they think that business is number one because they only do what they see.
Yep.
You can tell them all day. And
Totally.
remember, you already know this probably, but more is caught than taught. You
Yep.
got to walk it. You can't just talk it.
It's true.
Right. I got out of bed, walked in the office, which is only 40 feet behind my house, and it said, we're done today. I'm shutting this up, went to my construction yard, told my
Wow.
guys, had our last cup of coffee, said, can't do this anymore. What are you going to do? I go, I have no idea. But I'm not going to
Yep.
do this because I'm going to
Yep.
ruin.
Gives me chills. That's cool.
It's going to ruin my family. And you know what? We made it work.
Worth it.
Lost everything, moved, lost a house, lost a business, went, moved. And then the next business, Nick, this is people ask me like, well, how'd you figure out how to do it right? I go, it was easy. I said, well, we're homeschooling our kids. We're going to do all that stuff, right? So I go, I started with, here's my goal. If my wife calls me, I want to be able to be there in 15 minutes.
Nice.
I said, that's all I need to know.
Yep.
Now, how do I build a business that lets me do that? Now, here's the caveat. My wife never called me.
Yep.
She's pretty good, but if she did, or if I wanted to go, I could. But that ended up building my whole systemization and how I do this and hire that whole thing, right? Because your priority was right.
Yep.
Not because I want to have the most amazing business ever.
Totally.
I wanted to go see my kids.
Yep.
I want to like be part of, them growing up and learning and teaching them and leading, that whole thing. So, and still had multiple businesses, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like you can do it if you set your value structure.
That's right.
If you set that first and understand what's the real goal. The real goal is not money.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a tool. That's a yardstick.
Totally.
But
tool. That's exactly what I use as tool to make things easier, more convenient, more freedom, more whatever.
Help others.
But when you
the whole
start to
thing.
use it as it's not a tool, is when it starts to overtake you.
That's it.
And you start to do a lot of stuff for a lot of nothing.
I think chasing, you're chasing for the wrong reasons. You
Yep.
got to be solid in that.
Yep.
That's why we could do this for another hour, right? But
yeah,
it's just people that those core values, these takeaways here. The business is cool, what you do is cool, but like if you're in business and you're not setting that, all the 500% increase that Nick can bring your business, it's not going to matter.
doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? You do both. Okay,
that's right. That's
I
right.
want to do both. Right?
Yeah, be efficient. Figure it out. Quick and distracted.
If I can grow like that,
yeah.
What am I going to do with that growth? Oh, we're going to do this last stuff we talked about. I'm going to be home more. I'm going to be able to do this. I'm going to get to my kids' stuff. That's what that growth is going to do. It's not going to make me work more.
That's right.
It's going to make me work better and more focused, right? So I love it.
Which is the ideal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ideal.
Nick, this has been a lot of fun.
I love it.
This
is a great time.
It went the right direction. You never know where it's going to go, but this is good. Super strong. So how do people get in touch with me if they want to talk to you about their business? They got something going on Amazon or whatever it is, like give them the connection.
Yeah. I mean, my main thing, I'm sharing all my secrets on LinkedIn. And so I share a little bit about family, a little bit of case studies, a lot of Amazon just knowledge and try to help people out. There's a lot of people that can't afford services that don't know what they're doing. They're in the early days, whatever it may be. And so what we do is we just sharing a bunch out there. I try to be as responsive as I can. Sometimes the messages get lost, but reach out there and I'm happy to
just
help
find
out.
you under your name, under your profile.
That's right. Nik.
No C in Nick.
That's right.
He's that cool.
Parents forgot that one.
That cool. I love it. Yeah. So that I will definitely everyone go check that out for sure. I'll need to do the same. Are we connected on LinkedIn? I should go find out.
Gosh, who knows?
I don't know. Who knows?
A lot of people.
A lot of people there.
Oh yeah.
I don't know most of them, but yeah, excellent. So again, thank you for the time today.
Absolutely.
A lot of great stuff, man. A lot of fun in the conversation. And for everybody, go ahead.
I was just saying, oh yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, buddy. All right. For everybody else, we'll see you on the next STS podcast. Thanks for joining me on the Sharpen the Spear podcast. If you're a manufacturing executive and you're serious about unlocking hidden profit, improving frontline leadership, and taking control of your floor, go to grit2lead.com right now. Run the free Sharpened Impact Simulator and discover your biggest opportunities are hiding. Don't leave millions on the table. Sharpen your spear, lead from the front, and win the floor. Until next time, stay sharp.